Hello, folks, and welcome back to Rugby Ascendant. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. Day one of the 2022 Commonwealth Games for the Rugby Sevens was quite the day indeed. The scene was Coventry Stadium in Birmingham. Day one saw a lot of goose eggs, with 7 of the first 9 games ending in whitewash shutouts. The story of the day, however, was Uganda. The Cranes impressed with a loss against the Kenya Suja, 27-14, but then came back with a shocking draw against heavily favored Australia. They actually had a chance to win this, but a misconversion at the end cost the Cranes an epic upset, and they wind up in a 12-12 draw. It's a shame. Now, Fiji also got a scare from Canada, but did prevail in their 19-12 victory. The games to watch on Saturday, the first round, and on Saturday anyway, will be Australia versus Kenya. And if Kenya can smack Australia, there's a chance that the Cranes might move ahead. South Africa will play Scotland. After defeating Tonga and Malaysia handily, the Scots face the Blitzboks in a game that South Africa should win for the top of Pool B, but nothing is ever given when it comes to sevens. So day 2 should be quite interesting. Taking a look at the pools at the end of the first day of competition, New Zealand's All Blacks sit at the top of this thing with 2 wins and no losses. They're heavy favorites to win this whole thing. Samoa is in second place in Pool A, followed by England, surprisingly, in third place, and Sri Lanka drawing up the rear. Pool B, Scotland has the lead by 2 points in point differential over South Africa, even though both teams won both games. It'll be all down to that game early in the morning on Saturday to see who takes Pool B. In Pool C, Fiji, the class of the sevens, is out in front. Canada in second place, Wales and Zambia bringing up the rear. And over in Pool D, Kenya is out in front by winning both games in Australia by virtue of that draw against Uganda, finds themselves in second place. They could have easily found themselves in third place. Wow. Kenya, Australia, Uganda, and Jamaica, and that's the results right there. Taking a look at the women, New Zealand is the class here once again, as well as Australia. In Pool A, it's New Zealand with 2 wins, then England, Canada, each with a win, and Sri Lanka with no wins. Over in Pool B, just 8 teams competing for women in the Commonwealth Games. We've got Australia with 2 wins and no losses. Fiji, 2 wins and no losses. Scotland and South Africa bring up the rear. So for this tournament, it looks like the strength here is going to be the Silver Ferns for New Zealand, the Aussies, and Fiji on the women's side. As I mentioned, a lot of goose eggs in this tournament in the first day. That first round, the first 9 games, 7 of them shutouts. And we're talking about whitewashes here. I mean, Canada beat Wales 31-0, Fiji 52-0, Australia 62-0 over Jamaica, Kenya 45-0 over Jamaica. It was a real tough day for some of these teams. We also saw Samoa defeat England 34-0. Wow. That's pretty painful. And Scotland 41-0 over Tonga. So that's the first day, folks. Day 2 looks to be quite promising. And as I said, the games to watch on day 2 are going to be, in my view, the match between Australia and Kenya. Can the Suja knock out Australia and take first place handily in that pool? And South Africa should be able to defeat Scotland. We'll see if they pull that off. Day 1, interesting at the Commonwealth Games 2022 there in Birmingham. Let's see what day 2 holds in store for us. If you're not a subscriber, why don't you become one, folks? Hit that button right down there and become a subscriber. One thing I should note here before we go is that a horrific and intentional injury that was caused against the South African Blitzbok player late in that game, unnecessary, knocking the player out because of the head injury protocol. He won't be able to complete the tournament now. And what a vicious hit it was from the player on the Tonga side. It was wholly unnecessary. Intentional shot to the shoulder and head, and it was quite disturbing, and it wound up leading to about a 15-minute delay as they tended to the South African Blitzbok player on the pitch. That sort of play is unnecessary. The commentators tried to say, well, he just had bad positioning, but clearly it was intentional. He was the last line of defense to stop this try, and they were already down by a wide margin. I'm not really sure why somebody would take that angle and make that hit, but it was a shame to see. Hopefully everything's worked out well for the Blitzbok, but they're down 1 player now as a consequence of that stupid play. All right, folks, catch you here later on, and we'll see what happens on day 2. Cheers.